Accidental text to CEO reveals life-changing baby news. The incredible journey that followed. Claire's heart raced as she clutched her phone, the glow eerily illuminating the dim back booth of the diner. Just another late night, another round of endless coffee and greasy plates. But that night, she thought little of the weight of the world on her shoulders. The bustling heart of Chicago pulsed around her, a city that felt both exhilarating and cruel. A place where dreams collided with reality, often leaving them shattered. She was drowning in bills, responsibilities, and an overwhelming feeling of loneliness as she prepared for motherhood. The exhaustion wrapped around her like a heavy blanket, pushing her deeper into doubt. One reckless night, after a grueling double shift, Claire typed out a message meant for her sister. "I don't know how I'm going to do this alone. It feels like I'm failing before I even start. I just want anyone to understand." Her breath caught in her throat, but she hit send, thinking nothing of it. It wasn't until she received a response that her heart plummeted. The text read, "I'm here to support you." It was Tom, her new boss, an enigmatic CEO with a reputation for being a high-powered decision-maker in a world of suits and privilege. The weight of her feelings suddenly felt exposed to a man who had never faced her kind of struggle. In that moment, the intersection of their lives ignited. Tom, raised in a cozy suburb, never had to think twice about support or community. But as he read Claire's message, he could feel the sheer desperation and warmth within her words. There was a truth in her vulnerability that struck a chord deep within him. With every text exchange that followed, they chipped away at the boundaries between them. They began discussing initiatives to uplift single parents, broadening Tom's understanding of meritocracy in ways he never considered. Claire's fierce determination painted a vivid picture of resilience, and the world he knew came crumbling down to the personal struggles of a waitress trying to raise a child. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As days blurred into nights, Claire faced relentless hurdles, unexpected medical bills and judgmental stares that felt like daggers. Every time she held her baby bump, the uncertainty of her future tightened around her like a vice. With Tom's support, she seized the chance to attend community events intended to rally against the stigma of single parenting. Yet, doubt hovered like a storm cloud. Would they truly understand her plight? Just when Tom thought he could alleviate Claire's burdens, she prepared for an important community event. Everything mattered. The stakes were high, and the pressure of their growing connection loomed over them. How would he respond to the gravity of her situation? And would Claire accept a rival perspective to her independence, risking everything she had fought for? Just as the air thickened with tension, a pivotal moment loomed, teetering on the edge of possibilities. Their journey, still unfolding, begged the question, was it worth it to embrace the unexpected? Claire stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her blouse for the community event. Her reflection presented a woman caught between fear and resolve. The swell of her belly was unmistakable, and the weight of impending motherhood felt both daunting and exhilarating. She had spent the last few weeks pouring her heart into preparations, fueled by Tom's unwavering support. However, as she stared into her own eyes, doubt started to creep in again. What if they didn't accept her? What if the stories she told fell flat in the face of their polished lives? Could she truly share her truth without feeling like she was laying herself bare before them? At the same time, her phone buzzed on the dresser. It was another message from Tom, a simple but encouraging note. "I believe in you, Claire. Tonight, you'll inspire others." His words struck a chord within her, igniting a flicker of hope amidst her fears. For the first time, someone saw her not as a waitress with struggles, but as an advocate, a future mother, and perhaps a force for change. With a deep breath, she rocked back and forth on her heels, trying to shed the butterflies fluttering in her stomach. The event was set to start in less than an hour. She replayed Tom's words in her head, like a mantra, until they pushed away her anxiety. She could do this. She was no longer just a single mother-to-be, she was a voice for those who felt silenced. As she walked into the crowded community center, the atmosphere was alive with chatter and laughter. Colorful banners hung overhead, and the scent of fresh coffee mingled with a hint of baked goods. Claire felt small amidst the crowd. But as she moved deeper into the room, she caught sight of Tom, talking animatedly with a group of parents. His presence illuminated the space, and a grounding warmth washed over her. Their eyes met, and Tom nodded, a silent reminder that she wasn't alone. She absorbed his sturdy presence like a lifeline and made her way toward him. The moment she reached his side, he leaned closer, whispering, "You're going to be amazing." His faith in her felt like a warm embrace. It both reassured her and heightened her nervousness. Just as everything began to settle, a local news reporter approached the gathering. "We'd love to feature someone who represents the voices of families in need," she announced, scanning the crowd. Claire's heart raced. This was the moment she had anticipated, but could she find the courage to seize it? Tom's encouraging glance didn't waver. She gulped, feeling the weight of their conversation about sharing her story. What if she took the leap? What if her voice, shaky yet passionate, reached someone who needed to hear it? "Excuse me," Claire called out, surprising herself even as the words tumbled from her lips. The crowd quieted, all eyes on her. She felt a rush of adrenaline surging through her veins as she stepped forward. This was her moment to connect, not just for herself but for all the single parents out there looking for strength. But the moment her heart swelled with purpose, an unexpected flash of doubt flickered through her mind. What if she stumbled over her words? What if she failed to say what was in her heart? Tom stepped back, giving her space, but not before whispering, "Just speak from your heart." The electricity of the situation was palpable, and at that moment, Claire realized that this was so much bigger than just her. As she opened her mouth to speak, the question hung heavy in the air: would her truth resonate with them, or would she find herself lost in the overwhelming sea of expectations? And as she took a deep breath, the world around her narrowed to focus on one simple thought: it's time to find out. Claire took another deep breath, the air heavy with warmth and the faint scent of coffee. She finally began to speak, her voice tentative at first but growing steadier with each word. "Hello everyone, my name is Claire. I'm a single mother-to-be." A hush fell over the crowd. She could see a few nodding in understanding, while others leaned in, curiosity piqued. Claire's nerves danced around her like a swarm of fireflies, but she pressed on. "I know what it feels like to struggle, to think you're never enough," she shared, feeling the truth of her words ripple through the space. "When I first found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. I had so many questions and so much fear, and I wondered if I could do this alone." Murmurs of encouragement spread through the crowd. With every sentence, her confidence built. She spoke of sleepless nights and lonely days, of the bond she already felt with the tiny life growing inside her. She talked about hope and her dream of creating a loving home filled with laughter and support. As the words flowed, she could see the faces of mothers who had been where she was, of fathers nodding with empathy, friends encouraging her silently, and even those who had come just to listen. It felt like a gathering of hearts, every pulse in the room synchronizing with her own. "I want to create a community," Claire continued, her voice rising with passion. "One where every parent, every child, feels heard and loved, no matter the circumstances." The applause that followed was gentle at first but grew into a wave of sound that washed over her. Claire blinked back tears of joy. All those doubts melted away like morning mist. People were moved. Her truth had done what she hoped it would, it connected them. Suddenly, she saw Tom's smile shining brightly behind the crowd. He looked proud, like a lighthouse guiding her home. The realization hit her: this was not just her moment but a collective one. The shared stories of struggles and triumphs began to come out, sparked by her honesty. After she finished, people began to approach her, one by one. A grandmother with kind eyes gave her a comforting hug. A father shared how his own struggles had shaped him, and how he wanted to help families like hers. Others chimed in, creating an unplanned but beautiful discussion about community support and resilience. Claire felt alive, connected to these people in ways she had never imagined. Each shared story added bricks to the foundation she longed to build. It was more than a speech, it was a movement, a call for unity and understanding. But just as the energy peaked, the local news reporter gestured for attention again. "We want to film this moment," she announced, excitement lacing her words. "You're sparking a conversation, and it's important." An overwhelming wave of anxiety rushed over Claire. The spotlight was shifting back to her. Everything felt fragile, and with all eyes on her again, she was terrified of saying anything that could ruin this moment. What if she didn't know how to follow up this beautiful exchange? But then she remembered Tom's faith in her. She stepped forward, her heart thumping loudly in her chest, yet there was a new clarity in her mind. Maybe this was her chance to continue the conversation beyond this room. Could her voice reach even more people? As she looked into the camera, she steadied herself. There was an urgency in her heart. Let this be a start for all of us. But just as she leaned in, determined to share a thought that could change everything, she heard a sudden commotion from the entrance of the community center. The doors swung open, and the energy shifted. Claire's pulse raced. Who was it? What was happening? Would this new twist add to her message, or would it throw everything off balance? The anticipation cracked like static in the air, leaving Claire wondering what was about to unfold next. Claire turned her gaze toward the entrance, her stomach flipping as the sound of hurried footsteps echoed in the hall. A burst of chatter followed, voices ascending in surprise. She squinted through the light streaming in from outside and saw a figure standing in the doorway, tall, almost regal, with dark waves framing his face. It was Andrew, the community center director. He often spoke at events when big changes were unfolding, and seeing him now sent a jolt through Claire. "Sorry for the interruption, everyone," he called, his voice booming but steady. "I just got word of something surprising." The crowd fell silent again, riveted by the unexpected announcement. Claire's heart raced. What could have happened? Was it about her? A small part of her was hopeful, but fear gripped her. What if this was a setback? Andrew stepped inside, and his eyes scanned the crowd until they landed on Claire. There was an intensity in his gaze that both calmed and unsettled her. "Claire," he began, his tone shifting to something softer. "I just received a text that was meant for someone else, but the message, it's about you." Gasps filled the room. Claire's breath hitched. A text? Did someone say something that could affect her dreams? Was it good news or bad? "Your speech tonight," Andrew continued, his eyes shining with admiration, "it touched so many people. The message I got was from the CEO of a local nonprofit organization. They were watching the live stream, and they want to partner with you." A wave of shock washed over Claire. "What?" The word escaped her lips, a breathless whisper. Andrew nodded, a grin spreading across his face. "They're impressed with your vision and want to support your dream of building that community. They're ready to help you with funding, resources, everything you need." A murmur of excitement surged around her. Faces lit up like fireworks, and Claire felt herself swooning with disbelief. Was this even real? One moment she was just a woman sharing her story, and now here she was at the center of something greater. The reality of it settled in her heart, sending tingles through her fingertips. It felt like the universe had taken her worries and spun them into opportunities. "I don't know what to say," Claire stammered, emotions swirling within her. It was everything she had hoped for but never dared to voice. "Just say yes." A woman called from the back, clapping her hands together. Laughter erupted, easing the tension in Claire's chest. "Let us plan a meeting," Andrew replied, rocking on his heels, clearly excited. "They want to brainstorm with you and see how to turn your vision into a reality." Claire nodded, trying to absorb the whirlwind of information. She glanced at the crowd, seeing their supportive smiles, the encouragement shining through their eyes. Then, just as she opened her mouth to respond, the community center doors burst open again. This time, it was a man in a suit, looking flustered and out of breath. He scanned the room before fixing his gaze on her. "Claire. I need to talk to you, it's important." The room fell silent, and Claire felt the weight of everyone's attention shifting toward this new arrival. Anxiety crept back in, bubbling beneath the excitement. What did he want? What could possibly eclipse this incredible moment? 1,000 thoughts raced through her mind as she stepped forward, curiosity and dread battling her senses. What revelation could this stranger bring? Would it change everything just as much as the last announcement? As she reached him, her heart thundered in her chest, bracing for whatever news awaited her. What was this all leading to? The man took a deep breath, trying to collect himself as the stunned crowd waited in silence. His eyes darted nervously before locking onto Claire's, and she took a step back, a feeling of foreboding swirling in her gut. "I'm sorry, Claire, but there's no easy way to say this," he started, running a hand through his hair anxiously. "I'm Mark Sullivan, from St. Jude's Medical Center. I need to inform you about the health of your mother." A sharp gasp tore through the crowd as Claire felt her world tilt. "My mother?" she echoed, feeling a chill settle in her bones. "What about her?" The excitement of moments before vanished, replaced by dread. Mark hesitated, the weight of his words heavy in the air. "She's been admitted. We believe she suffered a mild stroke." It was caught early, but his voice trailed off, the implications hanging thick like fog. Claire's heart sank. She felt the energy drain from her, her legs weakening beneath her. The vibrant chatter from moments ago faded into nothing. All she could hear was the thump of her heartbeat in her ears, the rest of the world stretching out beyond her reach. Is she okay?" Claire managed to choke out, her voice small and trembling. Mark nodded, albeit reluctantly. "She's stable for now, but she needs you, she needs to see you." Claire's eyes watered, and she fought back tears. This was not the news she ever wanted to hear, so much uncertainty clouding the hopeful moment she had just experienced. The weight of responsibility washed over her. How could she juggle this with everything that was happening? Andrew stepped forward, sensing her distress. "We can help you," he said, his voice filled with urgency and compassion. "You don't have to do this alone. We'll figure it out. Let us make sure you get to your mother right away." Nods of agreement came from the crowd, their supportive faces offering Claire a small flicker of solace. But her mind was racing. Should she stay to discuss the partnership? To secure her dreams? Or should she drop everything and be with her mother when she needed her most? Torn, Claire felt her legs move automatically toward the door, each step heavy with decision. "I need to go," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let us go," Andrew said, urgency in his tone. Just as Claire stepped into the cool evening air, a wave of emotions surged within her. The highs and lows of the day clashed violently. She had been on the brink of a dream come true, now thrust into a reality she never expected. As Claire hurried down the steps of the community center, her mind swirled with thoughts of her mother and the plans for her future. Everything seemed to hang in balance: the community's support for her vision, her mother's health, and the life-changing partnership that felt just out of reach. With each heartbeat, Claire grasped the enormity of the chaos surrounding her. Could she really take this leap of faith into a new beginning while her heart called her back to family? The car ride was a blur, a haze of flashing streetlights and muffled conversations. She stared out the window, her heart heavy, torn between the love for her mother and the hope for her dreams to soar. When they finally arrived at the hospital, Claire's stomach twisted in knots. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. "Remember, you're not alone," Andrew said softly as they walked inside, his presence a reassuring balm amid the storm within her. Then, as they entered the hospital room, Claire's heart stopped for a brief moment at the sight of her mother lying weakly in the bed. Would she still have a chance to build her dreams alongside her family? And what path lay ahead now that everything had changed? The enormity of how fragile life could be hit her hard. Just as she approached her mother's side, a message chimed on her phone, a notification from the nonprofit. Claire glanced at it, her heart racing anew. What if this was the opportunity she needed to find balance? Would she have to choose one path over the other? In that moment, as her mother opened her eyes and a tear slipped down Claire's cheek, a thought sparked inside her. Was it possible to weave both love and ambition into a future she deeply desired? How would she navigate this uncharted territory that stretched infinitely in front of her? Claire's eyes widened as her mother's voice, fragile yet unmistakably present, emerged from the stillness of the room. Claire, it was almost a whisper, but it carried a world of love and concern that wrapped around her like a warm hug. "Mom!" Claire rushed to her side, her heart racing. She reached out to grasp her mother's hand, feeling the coolness of it against her own. "I was so scared. I thought I'd lost you." "I'm right here," her mother reassured with a faint smile. "You don't need to worry. I'm going to be okay." But Claire could see the exhaustion etched in her face, the lines deeper than she remembered. "What can I do?" Claire asked, wanting desperately to ease the burden that seemed to hover over the room. Her dreams felt so distant, while her mother's health was now front and center. "Just be here with me, sweetheart," her mother replied, her voice filled with a mix of tenderness and sincerity. "What is going on with your project? You were so excited before." Claire hesitated. The message from the nonprofit had felt so urgent and vital just moments ago, yet now it seemed trivial in the light of her mother's condition. I'll tell you all about it later. Right now, it's about you." Tears pooled in her eyes. Andrew, standing at a distance, thoughtfully glanced from Claire to her mother, sensing the intimate moment they needed. "Why don't I grab us some coffee?" he offered, slipping quietly from the room. As the door clicked shut, Claire's heart felt like it was being pulled in two directions. The dreams she was building were still alive in her mind, but her mother needed her more than ever. "Mom, I was just starting to make some real progress." "I was getting ready to." Claire, her mother interrupted gently. "You can't let this stop you." "But I don't want to chase my dreams when you're sick. I want to be here with you." Her mother squeezed her hand, the gesture grounding Claire even as uncertainty swirled around them. "You deserve to have both. You're strong, my girl. We'll figure it out together." Something shifted inside Claire. The tears felt hot on her cheeks, but she also felt a flicker of hope blooming within her. "I promise you, I will get through this," her mother said, her voice growing stronger. "I want to see you flourish. Your dreams matter just as much as my recovery." In that moment, Claire realized the truth behind her mother's words. Maybe this was the test she needed, the chance to reinvent the balance between family and ambition. Just then, her phone vibrated again, a reminder that the world outside was not done with her yet. She glanced at it, her breath hitching. The notification was from the nonprofit again, urging her response. Could this somehow lead her to blend everything: the support of her community, her mother's recovery, and the help she had so desperately wanted and needed? As she read the message, excitement mingled with anxiety. The stakes were high. If she took this leap, would she still have her mother to lean on? "Mom, I think I might have a way to keep everything afloat," she said, her voice trembling with a new sense of determination. Her mother's gaze sharpened, sparking interest. "Tell me everything, Claire." In that moment, Claire found herself at a crossroads. The weight of responsibility tugged at her heart, but the thrill of possibility ignited her spirit. Could she truly have it all? As she began to explain her thoughts, the faint beeping of the heart monitor punctuated the room with a steady reminder of life, and the genesis of a new way forward began to blossom between them. But just as hope rose and possibilities swirled in the air, another sound echoed down the hall: a sudden commotion, a raised voice that broke through their intimate moment. Get away from me. I'll find her. Claire turned, the fear creeping back into her heart. What was happening outside? Who was looking for her? Her stomach knotted. She couldn't shake the sense that something big was about to change, and she might have to face it alone. What if the very future she was trying to build crumbled with the chaos that was brewing just beyond the door? The commotion grew louder, echoing in the sterile hallway, a cacophony that cut right through Claire's moment of clarity. She squeezed her mother's hand tighter, flicking her eyes toward the door. "Mom, what do you think is going on?" Her mother's face darkened, a flicker of worry washing over her features. I don't know. Maybe a patient is confused or scared." But Claire's instincts told her it was more than that. The panic in the voice outside felt personal, like a storm rolling in, ready to disrupt everything. A part of her wanted to rush out, to see for herself, but another part urged her to stay put, to protect her mother from the chaos. Her mother's voice drew her back in, soft and steady. "You don't always have to be the one to handle everything. Remember what we talked about. You can't control everything around you." Those words resonated with Claire, grounding her momentarily in the chaos that seemed to envelop them. Just as she was about to respond, the door swung open. Andrew stepped inside, his brow furrowed, worry etched in his eyes. "I think we should check on that," he said, his voice low. "It might be a family member." Before Claire could react, he added, "I'll go see if everything's okay. Stay here with your mom." Claire hesitated, but Andrew's determination was palpable. "You need to focus on her. I won't be long." With a small nod, Claire felt a wave of reassurance wash over her. All the uncertainty and weight she was carrying felt a little lighter as she turned her attention back to her mother. "Just breathe," her mother encouraged. "We'll get through this. We always do." The love in her mother's voice gave Claire strength. She tried to focus, to return to the conversation that had felt so full of promise just moments before. "Mom, about the project, I think if I reach out to the nonprofit, they might be willing to help fund my ideas. With more resources, I can help build a community support system that brings people together. Do you think they'll listen?" Her mother raised an eyebrow, her smile returning. "They have to. I'll show them how much this can mean." But before she could say more, the shout from the hallway returned, only more frantic now. "No! Let me in. I have to find her." Claire's heart raced. Who were they looking for? Was it really about her? Her mother's hand tightened around Claire's, her voice now tinged with urgency. "You have to go. If someone is looking for you, get to the bottom of it." The chaotic energy surged through Claire as she pushed herself up from the chair, glancing back toward the door. "But what about you?" "What if no what ifs right now," her mom interrupted firmly. "Trust me. You're stronger than you know. I'll be okay. Just go." Claire nodded, swallowing hard against the lump in her throat. "I'll be right back," she promised before stepping toward the door. As she crossed the threshold, the chaos greeted her with a bang. People moved quickly, rushing to and fro. She spotted Andrew, standing beside a nurse, his expression serious yet concerned. "What's happening?" Claire called out, trying to catch his attention. A familiar face appeared from the crowd. Jenna, an old friend from high school. Her eyes were wide, panic bleeding into her expression. "Claire. I need your help. It's about your father." Claire's blood ran cold. "My father? What do you mean?" The immediacy in Jenna's voice sent her heart racing again, the path of uncertainty unfurling before her. "Please, we have to find him." He's gone. Everything within her twisted, caught in a swirl of disbelief and fear. Was she really ready to confront the truth that seemed to chase after her? As the walls of the hospital faded into a blur, one question echoed loudly in her mind: what had really happened? In that frantic moment, Claire felt everything shifting once more, the knack for balancing her dreams and her family fading into the background. What if her past was about to collide with her future in a way she never expected? Claire's knees felt weak as the words hung in the air between them. "He's gone," she echoed, her voice barely above a whisper. 1,000 thoughts rushed through her mind, familiar memories, laughter shared, worries held close, but none of it mattered now. All that mattered was the fear etched in Jenna's face. "Yes. I just found out. He didn't come to his appointment, and now they can't locate him." Jenna's words tumbled out, frantic and disjointed. Claire's heart raced, pounding against her ribs as if trying to break free. "And you're sure he's not?" Claire's voice cracked. She could hardly finish the thought. Jenna shook her head, tears shimmering in her eyes. "I went to check his apartment, and the door was locked. None of our calls have gone through. I thought maybe you'd have an idea where he might be." The weight of uncertainty pressed down on Claire like a heavy fog. Her memories shifted, from the time her father promised to take her fishing, something he never managed to do, to the nights he spent working late, lost in his own world. She'd always assumed he would be there, a constant in her life. But now? She felt the cracks forming beneath her, threatening to swallow her whole. One thought crystallized through the chaos: she had to stay strong. Not just for herself, but for Jenna, for her mother, and even for her father, wherever he might be. "We have to search," she said, her voice steadier now, fueled by urgency. "Let us split up. I'll check the nearby coffee shop. He always said it was his safe haven." Claire didn't wait for a response. She turned on her heels, moving fast, her heart racing with every step. The fluorescent lights overhead hummed, and the scent of antiseptic lingered in the air, a stark reminder of where she was. With each stride, the noise from the hospital faded, replaced by the muffled thrum of her thoughts. As she pushed through the double glass doors, the bright sunlight hit her like a wave, blinding her momentarily. She blinked hard, taking a deep breath to center herself. The street was bustling with life, cars zooming by, people hurrying to their destinations. But for Claire, time felt suspended, every second stretched out, heavy with dread. She hurried down the block toward the coffee shop, praying that each step might bring her closer to finding her father. Tables spilled out onto the sidewalk, laughter and chatter swirling around her like a second skin. Claire couldn't help but scan the faces, hoping against hope for a glimpse of his familiar smile. Inside, the barista was busy steaming milk, the espresso machine hissing loudly. Claire moved through the line, her pulse quickening as she neared the counter. "Excuse me, have you seen?" she started, but the barista's distraction halted her words. "Sorry, can you hold on 1 second?" He called over his shoulder, and Claire's heart sank as the seconds dragged on. She was about to leave without an answer when a voice interrupted. "Claire?" Her head snapped around, and there stood a customer Claire had least expected to see. "Mr. Thompson?" "Ah, Claire. It's been a while," he said, his warm smile contrasting the worry in her eyes. "What brings you here?" Panic flooded her as she hesitated, searching his face for any clue. "Have you seen my father?" "He's missing." Mr. Thompson's brow furrowed, concern flooding his features. "Missing? I haven't seen him lately, I'm afraid. But let me help." "What do you need?" Just then, Claire's phone buzzed violently in her pocket, cutting through the static of unfolding events. She fished it out, her heart lurching when she saw Andrew's name flashing on the screen. "Claire, it's Andrew," his voice came through, heavy with urgency. "We need to talk now. It's about your dad." The world around her spun as dread spiraled within her chest, tightening like a vice. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. What could Andrew possibly know that would change everything? With her heart in her throat and hope hanging by a thread, she stepped outside, ready to face the storm. Would she be prepared for the truth that awaited her? Claire's fingers trembled as she answered the call. Andrew? Her heart pounded with equal parts dread and desperation. Listen, I don't want to alarm you, but I just got off the phone with someone who mentioned seeing your dad yesterday, he explained. The sudden rush of potential hope was both intoxicating and terrifying. Where? Who? She asked, her voice sharp now, surging with urgency. A woman named Carla. She works at the old diner near the park, said he was there around noon, talking to someone, a stranger. Do you think he was in trouble? Claire pressed, her mind racing through a million scenarios. I don't know. But it's worth checking out. Claire hung up and felt the air thicken around her. Could he be in danger? Or maybe he just needed space. A fire ignited in her chest, and she set off toward the diner with new determination. The street seemed to blur as she moved, her feet pounding against the pavement. Twisted thoughts made every second feel like an eternity. What if she was too late? What if someone took him? The dark alleyways of her mind suffocated her, but she fought against it, trying to focus on what she could control. As she approached the diner, the familiar neon sign loomed overhead, pulsating like a beacon. It was a friendly neighborhood place, filled with warmth and laughter over steaming cups of coffee and fresh pastries. Yet today, the energy felt heavy, as if even the air was aware of the uncertainty that weighed on her shoulders. The bell above the door chimed as Claire stepped inside, and the comforting scent of fried eggs and bacon washed over her, momentarily distracting her from the turmoil within. She scanned the room, a mix of families, couples, and solitary diners, but it was the waitress bustling by that caught her eye. Excuse me. I'm looking for Carla, Claire called out, her voice strained as she maneuvered through the narrow space. The waitress turned, wiping her hands on a dish rag. I'm Carla. What can I do for you? Claire's heart hammered in her chest. I was told my dad was here yesterday. Can you tell me what happened? Carla's eyes clouded with concern. He was here, yes. Seemed a bit off, like he had something on his mind, you know? He was talking to some guy, but he left without finishing his food. What did this guy look like? Claire pressed, fearing an answer she might not want. He was tall, kind of scruffy. Looked like he hadn't slept well. I thought they were just having a chat, but then I noticed your dad looked really unsettled, like he wanted to get away. Did he mention where he was going? Shaking her head, Carla replied, not to me. But before he left, he slipped a note under the table and walked out in a hurry. Can I see it? Claire's heart raced as Carla nodded and rushed to retrieve the paper, returning moments later. It was crumpled and stained, and when Claire unfolded it, her hands quaked. The barely legible scrawl made her stomach drop. I'm sorry. Sorry for what? Claire thought, the words echoing ominously in her mind. Do you know what this means? She whispered, her breath hitching as she held the note like a lifeline. Carla looked unsettled too, but nodded at Claire, urging her to think. Maybe he felt he had to leave suddenly. Or was afraid of something or someone. 1,000 new worries blossomed in Claire's spiraling thoughts. She had to find the missing piece. She had to know what was so desperately wrong that her father felt he couldn't talk to her. Just then, her phone buzzed again with a text, interrupting her racing thoughts. Glancing at it sharply, her breath caught in her throat. It was an unknown number, but the message sent icy fingers creeping down her spine. I know where he is. Claire's heart dropped, fear mingling with a surge of determination. Who was this? Did they really know? With her pulse pounding in her ears, she braced herself and replied, where? As she waited, an icy chill of dread settled in her chest. What could this new revelation mean? And would she be ready for whatever came next? The seconds ticked by like hours as Claire stared at her phone, waiting for a reply. Her heart raced, a cacophony of fear and hope hammering in her chest. What did this message mean? What if it was a trap? But what choice did she have? She felt the weight of her father's safety pressing against her time and time again. Then, an incoming message flashed across her screen: "Meet me at the old warehouse on Oak Street." He's there alive, but not safe. A surge of both relief and fear washed over her. He was alive. But the thought of him being in danger sent adrenaline coursing through her veins. Without a moment to spare, she spun toward the diner door, bursting out into the afternoon sun. "Claire! Wait!" Carla's voice called after her, but Claire didn't stop. She had to get to her father. She ran, her heart thundering, her thoughts fixated on her next move. The streets blurred as she sped past the familiar buildings that now felt foreign, a world caught in disarray from the weight of the unknown. Every shadow loomed ominously, every corner threatened more chaos. She pushed through the fear weighing her down, fueled by the urgency of her father's situation and the looming sense that life was about to change in profound ways. When Claire finally arrived at the old warehouse, the rusted exterior and cracked concrete gave the place a foreboding air. She hesitated just a moment, taking a deep breath as she felt the sun fade against her skin. Then, steeling her nerves, she pushed the wooden door open. It creaked loudly, echoing through the empty space. Inside, shadows danced across the walls as the daylight tried to penetrate the grime-covered windows. Claire felt her pulse quicken, pushing back against the overwhelming sense of vulnerability. "Dad?" she called out, her voice reverberating off the cold metal beams. A rustle came from the far side of the room, and there he was, her father, looking older and more worn than she remembered. His eyes widened when he saw her, but the relief was quickly eclipsed by something darker. "Claire!" He rushed toward her, a mixture of joy and worry flooding his features. "What are you doing here? You shouldn't have come." "Dad, I was worried. Jenna said you were missing." Her heart squeezed as she took in the despair etched onto his face. "What is going on? Who was that guy you were with?" With a deep, shaky breath, he glanced around, almost as if he was afraid to share everything. "There's so much you don't understand. I got mixed up with the wrong crowd. I thought I could handle it, but it spiraled out of control." Claire's stomach twisted. "Is that why you left that note?" "Dad, you scared me. I thought something terrible happened to you. I thought it was the best thing to do, a way to protect you. I didn't want you involved, but they're not just gonna let me walk away." "Who? What danger are you in?" Her voice flared, feeling a heat rise within. "You need to let me help you. We can figure this out together." Her father, running his hands through his hair in frustration, mirrored her own feelings of helplessness. "They want something from me, something I can't give them. You have to stay out of it. I can't lose you too." Suddenly, a crash from the back jolted them both. A group of men stepped into the warehouse, their presence dark and menacing. Every instinct in Claire screamed to run, but she wouldn't leave her father behind. "Stay close to me," she whispered, grounding her fear by clenching her father's hand. "We'll get out of this together." Before they could bolt, one of the men stepped forward. "You're making a mistake coming here, old man," the man sneered, his eyes scanning Claire with a creepy intensity. "We have unfinished business." Adrenaline surged, fear and resolve colliding inside of Claire. "Let him go," she shouted, her voice strong despite the shaking in her legs. "You don't have to do this." Frame by frame, she could see the flicker of surprise on the men's faces. Even they didn't quite expect her defiance. For a split second, Claire felt the fear evaporate. With every ounce of courage she had, she stepped forward again, embodying the hope and strength she wished to inspire in others. "You're wrong to think this'll end well for anyone. My father deserves a chance to rebuild his life," she asserted, a spark igniting the room around her. Just then, the window shattered in a flurry of glass, and Claire flinched, turning to see Andrew and a group of police officers bursting through the door. "Hands up!" an officer shouted, and chaos erupted as the criminals bolted for cover, with the officers on duty, Claire and her father were soon whisked to safety. The disorderliness felt like a fever dream fading into memory as she squeezed her father's hand and breathed out a sigh of relief. Outside the warehouse, Claire felt the weight of uncertainty shift, her surroundings coming back into focus. "You'll be okay, Dad. We'll get through this together," she whispered, brushing her face against his. He nodded, gratitude evident in his eyes. "I'm so proud of you. You're stronger than I ever realized." Tears pooled in Claire's eyes, not out of fear, but from the realization that she had stood up for the life she wanted, not just for herself, but for her family. She would find a way to balance love and ambition, to unite her dreams of helping others with the fierce loyalty she had for her family. As they embraced, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden light around them. It felt like the universe was ready to support her newfound purpose, the community she wanted to build, the voice she had discovered, all blooming within her heart. In that moment, Claire decided to move forward, blending everything together into a new idea of family and strength, hope and resilience. A new beginning was right around the corner, and with that realization, Claire knew their journey was far from over. It had, in fact, just begun. Now, as the weight of the past lifted and a fresh horizon dawned, Claire could finally feel the promise of tomorrow calling her name. This is the moment for you to take action. Don't wait any longer to be part of this incredible transformation. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help more inspiring stories reach those who need it. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this amazing ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to support the channel through these actions. Only true fans understand the importance.